So I've accepted a mission to help inspire 1 million people to live happy and healthy. And I read recently, about 3 days ago, that happiness can actually depend on the circumstances around us, but that joy is inside.
Well, semantics. And to that we say, okay, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, great. That's my answer.
But we want to add to this because just today we've been talking about something that fits right into what you're talking about, and it is influence. So happiness influences happiness, and trying to fix problems influences problems. So you're on the right track about this, because most people who are wanting to be of service and influence happiness are really looking for problems that they can solve, and they never get around to influencing any happiness. And it's because only happy people can influence happiness, and people that are happy don't need your help.
It's a paradox.
So then you're looking around for people that aren't happy, and when you find them, you're not happy either. So the question is, influence. Who's got the greater influence? Do I have a greater influence of happiness, or do you have a greater influence of unhappiness? Jerry used to say, let's just dart in and dart out. Because he knew he could maintain it pretty good. We'll just dart in and dart out. Couldn't take too much of it, because whatever's going on, if there's a lot of it going on, it can be very influential. That's what mob rule is. People can get some dissatisfaction, some discontent going, and you listen a little bit and you resonate and you relate. Before long, you've got it going, and you've got it going, and you've got it going, and you've got it going. And then you have a whole mob of people who have disempowered themselves because they've disconnected from who they really are. They want to blame everybody else for the way they feel. And we say, oh, mob rule is only really good if it's a happy mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're back to where we started today, about your work is to prepare your own personal environment. That's why we really encourage meditation, because meditation, first thing, meditation lets your inner being influence you to rapturous, glorious appreciation, love, happiness, because that's where your inner being is. That's only where your inner being is. Your inner being hangs out in a vibrational arena that has very little difference in frequency, not even enough difference that you could discern it. And the words that describe your inner being's state of being, your inner being's mood, you might say, range from what you would describe as ecstasy, enthusiasm, passion, to interest, clarity, satisfaction. That's where your inner being hangs out. So when you are starting first thing in the day, before any influence, Jerry used to say to Esther, please don't answer the phone or read your email until after lunch, because he wanted his influence. He wanted his happy influence before anything else could show itself. And we don't say wait till after lunch. We say wait till after meditation. But give yourself the stability so that whatever comes then isn't a big problem. It's just an opportunity for more clarity from a place of alignment. You come out of your meditation all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and then everything that comes is beneficial. You see the advantage in everything that comes, because every idea, every notion, every interaction, it all has a gift for you and you a gift for it. That's just the way it works when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. We're not talking about putting your head in the sand. We're not talking about trying to stay away from things that will negatively influence you. This is really important. We want you out in the world where it all is. We just want you to have taken the time to allow yourself to be influenced into your fullness, so that when you're out in the world, all of you is out there, so that no matter what comes at you in the form of any kind of influence, you're ready for it. Someone's confused, you're not, you're clear. Someone's upset about something, you're not, you're joyful. Someone hates somebody for something they did or said, you don't hate, you are one who is in the state of love.
I've heard so much today that I relate to.
It's been a wonderful day.
It really has. I'm so appreciative of that. Questions about meditation, practice?
People make meditation more intricate and more difficult than it needs to be. It really is just quiet your mind and let your real mind dominate. That's what it amounts to.
Well, I belong to a faith that practices chanting. After reconnecting
That's a
with
good way too.
Yeah, and after reconnecting with this work recently, like within the last year or so, I've come to the understanding that really the chanting is just getting the conscious mind to focus on something.
Especially if you're chanting on something meaningless.
Yeah.
If you choose something that you can't connect to anything, then it can distract you from things that are resisted in nature, and up you go.
Yeah. So that's been really good. I kind of became a bug on a windshield about 3 years ago and got to experience homelessness. And well, you want to talk about a place of contrast, and got really focused on what I wanted, which was not
Shelter.
Shelter, and income and all that. And never thought anything like that would happen to me, and it did, and I'm so grateful for it because of the way it really sharpened my focus on what I want.
Yeah. Sometimes humans ask for extremes because they've been missing the simple clues. So the extreme just gets their attention. And then after you've experienced the extreme, you don't have to keep doing that.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Yeah.
And now I have stuff I have to dust. And more is on the way. I know more is on the way.
Yeah.
And I mean,
well, somewhere in there, intend dusters. There are a lot of people.
or not.
Or not. Wind. Ask for wind.
I could do that. But here's the real thing. Probably about a little over 6 months ago, I started a morning practice of getting up at 6. I don't have to be at work till 8, and the commute to work isn't hard. And then I realized I wasn't getting enough time in the morning to do my practice, so I started getting up at 5. And the practice I'm doing is I'm writing a rampage of appreciation every morning. And I feel this momentum building up, and I have no idea where it's taking me, and I don't care.
You're giving us something really good to chew on here, because when people say, I don't know where it's taking me, we want to say where you are and how you feel is enough.
Yeah.
And of course it will be more, but if you can resist the necessity of knowing where the happy feelings are taking you and just enjoy the happy feelings and pretend like that was the ride you were on. In other words, I've been taken here to this happy place, and that's enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for something more. It will be, but it doesn't have to be, because this is enough.
I keep keying on something I hear as a repeated theme because I mean, I listen to you when I'm getting ready for work in the morning. I listen to you when I'm basking, getting ready to go to bed at night.
So you are a glutton. We get that.
Pretty much. I may have to start my own 12-step program
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
I just keep keying on this one thing, and that is to make how I feel the most important thing. Feeling good, the most important thing.
But think about it in context of what we've been talking about. In this moment, because I am aware, and because my intention is to feel good, and because now I have some tools that I know work for me, so my interest and my personal emphasis is upon creating my environment for reception. And then if something sneaks up on me, as we were talking about earlier, and you weren't prepared and something, then don't make a big federal case out of it. Instead, take the bounce from it and accept it as part of the important thing, as you did, that helps you to identify with more clarity what you do want. Nothing can go wrong. And there's nothing serious going on. There's nothing serious going on. It's all for your valuable creative satisfaction.
honestly where I am right now.
When you think about humanity or individuals who want to make a difference, they want to do something that's big and important, and they want their life to be meaningful, and they want to make an impact. You hear all of these things. You may even feel some of these things. But inherent in that kind of reaching is a dissatisfaction that sort of slows it all down. It's like saying, I'm not there yet, but I'm still going. And when you're saying I'm not there yet, you're stalled out. But when you say, I am there, where? Feeling good. Now you're not stalled out. Can you feel the difference? I am where I am, and that's all right. I'm ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. I'm an evolving being in a constant state of evolution. I'm exploring contrast just as it should be, and I'm coming to new awarenesses of what I desire, and I'm following the flow of that as best I can, and it's all good. Feel how solid that is, and how moment by moment by moment you're feeling good. Humanity, humans, in large part, stand in constant yearning for this to happen before they allow themselves to feel good. And when you get it, that you can feel good anyway, because right here where you are, the most important thing, the only thing that you really care about, the only thing that matters, the only thing that is important or necessary for happy is the union between you and you. You don't have to get down the road for that. You don't have to wait for another day for that. All of that power is right here, right now. And it's contingent only upon the thoughts that you are thinking right here and now. But the thoughts that you are thinking right here and now are contingent upon the atmosphere that you've prepared that makes it possible to think those thoughts. You see what we're getting at? So don't beat up on yourself if you're not thinking such blissful thoughts that you're in perfect union with your inner being. It's all right. Your inner being isn't going anywhere. Your inner being isn't saying, you've got 5 more minutes. You got 5 more minutes. That's all I'm waiting for you. Your inner being will wait for eternities, over and over and over and over again. Your inner being is there, knowing your value and knowing it so much that all you got to do is just lean that way, and your inner being will just suck you in.
Ineffable.
Yeah.
There are no words for this.
Don't need to be. There's vibrations.
Yeah. And you know, there are times when I'm writing in the morning when I feel ecstasy.
You know what that is? That's you in the receiving mode and receiving. Ecstasy is what it feels like in your body when you receive what your inner being feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like keen interest. And sometimes it feels like an impulse you just can't deny. Just gotta go, gotta do that now. When you're tuned in, the way your inner being feels, you translate and describe in different ways. But you get so you just know. Might as well just always let your inner being go along with you rather than hold them out. We're a lot of fun. We know where all the cracks in your resistance are. And we know in every moment, no matter where you are, what has the greatest likelihood of surprising and delighting you. And there's nothing more delightful to us than for you to be delighted.
Well, I am
Delighted.
Yes. I love you, Abraham, and I love you, Esther.
That's clear to us. We have enjoyed this interaction a lot. And the best part is coming next, when you get to observe or receive or realize the benefit of this time that we have spent together, because you are like our friend who works with the mouses. You are not the same. You might be sitting on the same chair as you were a little while ago, but you are not vibrationally the same, and nothing in your world will be exactly as it was, because you have shifted. Therefore your perspective has shifted, therefore your point of attraction has shifted, therefore the outcomes are shifting, and most important, therefore the fun along the way is going to shift.